I wasn't planning to go anyway, but when Mum sent that text, "Don't try coming to the family reunion," something in me flipped. It was short, cold, like I was some stranger, not her oldest child, not someone she once read bedtime stories to. She didn't even add a period, just the message, like a warning. I stared at it for a while, unsure if I should laugh or throw my phone. Instead, I typed back, "Understood," 2 words. That was all I gave her. But in my head, a much louder response was forming. I wasn't going to stay away. I was going to show up, and I wasn't going to smile and pretend everything was fine. I hadn't seen any of them in over 5 years. Not since that day, when everything went sideways, when someone in the family accused me of stealing, and instead of asking questions, they just believed it. Mum didn't even look at me before she told me to leave. My dad wouldn't meet my eyes. My younger brother, Brandon, played innocent while I got kicked out. My sister looked guilty, but stayed quiet. That silence hurt the most. Since then, I've kept to myself. No calls, no visits. Just the occasional picture online of their perfect little family get-togethers, smiling faces without me in the frame, like I never existed. But here's what they don't know. I didn't steal anything, and I have proof. Back then, I didn't fight back. I left, but I never deleted the files, never threw away the old receipts. I saved it all, just in case the day ever came where I needed it. I guess that day is here. I opened my closet and grabbed a small suitcase, just a few clothes, some chargers, the old USB drive. It's time they finally hear the truth. And this time, I won't be quiet. Let them smile their fake smiles and eat their fancy dinner. I'll be there, front row, for the moment everything crumbles. Mum said not to come, so I will. It was a summer barbecue, 5 years ago, at my parents' house. The last time I saw any of them. The yard was filled with folding chairs, the smell of grilled ribs, and laughter that didn't include me. At first, it seemed like a normal get-together. I had just come back into town for a visit. I brought a bottle of wine, smiled, and tried to blend in, even though I already felt like an outsider, like a guest in my own family. Then, Brandon pulled Mum aside. I saw them whispering. Her face changed. She looked at me like I'd just spit on the carpet. A few minutes later, Dad called me over. I thought maybe he wanted to talk, catch up, but no. He held his phone up, screen glowing with a bank notification. Someone transferred $3,200 from the joint account to an online crypto wallet, he said. It was done from your old laptop. Brandon says he found it open in the office. I blinked. What are you talking about? Brandon stood behind him, arms crossed, with that smug, practiced innocence he always wore when lying. I just thought it was weird, he said. I didn't want to say anything at first, but I looked around. My sister wouldn't meet my eyes. Mom stood stiff, already furious. Tell the truth, she said. Did you take it? I laughed, actually laughed. Are you serious right now? That didn't help. You've always been careless with money, Dad muttered. You've borrowed from us before. Borrowed and paid it back, I snapped. I tried to explain that the laptop wasn't even in my possession anymore, that I hadn't touched it in months. No one listened. They were already settled in their decision. Give us the money back, Mum said, and leave. It wasn't just what they said. It was how quickly they turned, how fast the doubt appeared on their faces. No one defended me, not even my sister, who knew how Brandon operated. He was always the golden child, slippery, charming, always out of trouble. He once crashed Dad's car and convinced them I had taken it for a joyride. They grounded me for a week. He got ice cream, so I left. No dramatic exit, no yelling. I walked out, heart numb, face burning. But before I did, I made one small detour into the office. I backed up the system logs from the laptop, screenshots, login activity, dates and times, just in case. And for 5 years, I kept it all. Every photo, every email, every receipt, waiting. The family reunion was set for next weekend at the cabin in North Carolina, the same one where we used to spend every summer growing up. I hadn't been there since the fallout, but apparently the tradition was still going strong without me. I didn't bother asking for an invite. I already had my answer in that cold text from Mom. So I booked an Airbnb 10 minutes down the road, a quiet place tucked into the woods, small and private, perfect for planning my entrance. A week before the reunion, I got a message from my cousin Liz. She was one of the only people who never fully bought into the story 5 years ago. She moved out west a while back, but we stayed in touch, quietly, so the rest of the family wouldn't flip. They're all pretending like nothing happened, she wrote. Like you just disappeared for no reason. I asked her for updates. Brandon's the king now, she said. New wife, baby on the way, big job in tech or something. Mum and Dad act like he walks on water. Figures. The more she told me, the more obvious it was. Brandon had spun everything perfectly. After pinning the blame on me, he stepped into my old place in the family, only better. No one questioned him. He'd even named his baby after our grandfather, the one I was named after. Real subtle, but cracks were showing. Liz said Mom had been drinking more, that Dad snapped at her at a Christmas dinner when she mentioned my name. My sister, apparently, barely spoke to anyone anymore. And Brandon's wife, she wasn't exactly blending in. Liz said she seemed distant, unsure, like she didn't know what she'd married into. I took it all in and began planning. I wouldn't storm in with accusations. No shouting, no drama, yet. I wanted to plant seeds. Let the truth grow slow, twisted, undeniable. Let them feel what I felt back then. Doubt creeping in. The feeling that something was off. I packed everything again. USB, printouts, the works. This time, I wasn't walking into a trap. I was setting one. I arrived just before sunset. The cabin looked the same. Old wood porch, string lights hanging between the trees, a big grill smoking in the back. Laughter echoed from the yard, chairs in circles, paper plates stacked on a table. For a second, I felt like I was 12 again, running around barefoot, chasing fireflies with my cousins. Then someone saw me. The laughter didn't stop right away. It stumbled, like a scratched record. Heads turned, eyes widened, plates froze halfway to mouths. I stepped onto the grass slowly, calm, dressed sharper than I ever had around them. Button-up shirt, clean jeans, polished shoes. I smiled, not big, just enough to say, yes, I'm really here. Brandon dropped his drink. He was standing with a group, one arm around a pregnant woman. His wife, I assume. She looked confused. He looked like someone had punched him in the stomach. Mum was the first to move. She came across the yard fast. Her expression switched between fury and something close to panic. But when she reached me, her face changed. She smiled tightly, the kind people use when cameras are watching. Well, she said, voice tight, this is a surprise. I got your message, I said. Came anyway. She blinked. I can see that. No one else said anything. People watched from the porch, some whispering, some pretending not to see me at all. Dad stayed by the grill, flipping burgers like this wasn't happening. I just wanted to say hello, I added. Catch up. I'm staying nearby. You're not staying here, she said quickly. Of course not, I said, all innocent. Wouldn't want to overstep. Brandon hadn't moved. His wife whispered something to him. He didn't answer. His jaw was clenched. He looked like someone trapped in a game he didn't expect to play again. I brought a pie, I said, lifting the small bakery box I'd picked up earlier. Cherry. Figured it was still Dad's favorite. I handed it to her. She held it like it was poisoned. Then I turned and walked toward the porch, greeting familiar faces, smiling politely. Some cousins nodded. A few muttered awkward hellos. Liz gave me a quick look from the far end, somewhere between warning and encouragement. No one yelled. No one told me to leave. They were too stunned. Perfect. Let them think I came in peace. Let them believe I was here for small talk and potato salad. They'd know soon enough. I moved through the yard slowly, stopping to chat, to smile, to drop little comments here and there, just enough to make people think twice. With Aunt Claire, I brought up that night 5 years ago. Remember when I was helping Brandon clean out the office that afternoon? I asked casually. Funny how later he said I'd never been in there. She hesitated, blinked a few times, then nodded slowly like gears turning. With my cousin Drew, I scrolled through a folder on my phone and showed him an old photo. You took this, right? I asked. It was a picture from that day. Me sitting on the porch, laptop closed. Time stamped hours after the money supposedly vanished. He frowned. Yeah, that's weird. I remember you weren't even near the house when... I smiled. Exactly. The whispers started small. Just a few murmurs passed between cousins, side glances at Brandon, who was staying oddly quiet by the cooler, sipping beer too fast. His wife looked tense now, arms crossed, watching everyone with sharp eyes. Then came Dad. He finally approached when most people had wandered toward the grill. We stood just beyond the edge of the porch, half hidden by shadows. He didn't say hello, just stared at me. What do you want? He asked. Just visiting, I said. He narrowed his eyes. You're up to something, I shrugged. You think I'd come all this way just to eat some ribs? He didn't smile. I have proof, you know, I said, quieter now. From 5 years ago, everything you needed to see back then. I don't want to hear it, he snapped. We've moved on. No, you moved on, I said, stepping closer. I was pushed out, blamed, and no one ever even asked me what really happened, because it was obvious. No, I said. It was easy. That hit something. His jaw clenched. He turned and walked away. Brandon saw. I met his eyes across the yard. He knew it was starting. The cabin hadn't changed much inside. Same creaky floors, same ugly floral wallpaper in the hallway. The guest room I used to sleep in was now a storage space, filled with boxes and holiday decorations shoved into corners. Most of the family was outside still, laughing louder than usual, like they were trying to cover something up. I moved quickly. I slipped away during the mid-afternoon lull, when everyone was distracted by the group photo. Walked inside like I belonged, like I had permission. Back then, when I left, I didn't take everything. I was too stunned, too angry, but I had time to think in the car that day. Right before I left, I hid one thing. Behind the bottom drawer of the old writing desk in the study, taped underneath with black duct tape, was a tiny USB drive. I'd tucked it there on a hunch, just in case I ever needed it. It was still there. I peeled it free, fingers shaking just a little. The tape had hardened and cracked, but it held. The drive was small, cheap plastic, worn edges, but inside it held everything. The system logs from the laptop, screenshots of login time, bank statements showing a transfer made from Brandon's old email, a voice memo I'd saved where he bragged to a friend about getting away with it. They thought it was a joke. It wasn't. I slipped it into my pocket and turned to leave, and stopped. She was standing in the hallway, Brandon's wife. She wasn't smiling. We stared at each other for a moment, both frozen in place. Her eyes went from my face to the drawer I'd just closed, then back to my hand near my pocket. I was looking for the bathroom, I said smoothly. She didn't answer, just watched me. Something in her face shifted, curious but also cold. Down the hall, second door, she said finally, stepping aside. I nodded, past her, and walked slowly out the front door. Back in the yard, the noise felt louder, the air heavier. She didn't follow. I kept my eyes down, heart pounding against my ribs. I had what I came for, but I wasn't sure if I was the only one playing a game anymore. I was leaning against the back porch railing when I heard his voice behind me. Can we talk? Brandon, alone, no beer in hand, no fake smile, just tired eyes and a stiff jaw. I turned slowly, already reaching into my pocket, pressing the button on the recorder app on my phone before sliding it back in. Sure, I said. Let's talk. He led me away from the others, down the side of the cabin where no one else was. Trees blocked the view, and the only sound was the low hum of bugs and the crunch of dry leaves under our feet. I know what you're doing, he said quietly. I didn't answer. I messed up, he admitted, running a hand through his hair. I was stupid. Back then, I was drowning in credit cards. Crypto sounded like a quick fix. I didn't think it would blow up like that. You framed me, I said flatly. He winced. I didn't mean for it to go that far. I panicked. You were already arguing with Dad that day. It just fit. So you let them kick me out. You let Mom believe I stole from her. I didn't know what else to do, he hissed. They never would have forgiven me. You were always the one who... He stopped himself. Look, I'm sorry, okay? I'll pay you back. I can wire it tonight. Just don't make this public. He looked scared now. Not for me, for himself. My wife can't know, he added. You don't understand what she'll do if she finds out. You're right, I said. I don't understand, because I didn't screw over my own family. He took a deep breath. I'll double it. Whatever you think I owe. Just walk away. I smiled slowly, not the kind he wanted. I'm not here for the money, I said. His face fell. He backed away a step, finally realizing something. You're recording this. I didn't say a word. He turned, walked off in silence. I watched him go. He thought I wanted revenge. He had no idea what was coming. Dinner was set on 2 long folding tables pushed together in the yard. String lights flickered above like nothing was wrong. Chicken, potatoes, salad, wine. Everyone pretending this was just another perfect evening. Brandon sat near the head of the table, his wife beside him, quiet as always. My parents were across from them, trying too hard to act normal. I waited until the food had been passed around until the first few bites were taken, and the noise of forks and laughter filled the space. Then I stood up, glass in hand. I'd like to make a quick toast, I said, loud enough for everyone to hear. The table quieted. Some people looked uncomfortable. My mum gave me a sharp look but said nothing. I know it's been a long time since I've seen most of you, I said, voice steady. And I know not everyone was thrilled to see me show up. A few awkward chuckles, mostly silent. But I came here to clear the air, to remind everyone how this family treats its own, and to finally tell the truth. I reached into my pocket and placed my phone on the table, pressing play. Brandon's voice filled the air. I messed up. I was drowning in credit cards. You were already arguing with Dad that day. It just fit. There was no mistaking it. His tone, his words, clear and undeniable. Gasps shot around the table. Someone dropped a fork. My aunt put a hand to her mouth. Brandon's wife turned and stared at him like she'd just seen a stranger. He stood up fast, knocking his chair backward. "That's taken out of context," he shouted. "No," I said calmly. "It's not." "You recorded me?" he snapped. "You sneaky little—" "Enough!" Mum's voice cut through the noise. She was standing now too, face red, eyes full of something sharp and shaking. "How dare you do this here? In front of everyone," she yelled. "This is not your moment to shine." "Not my moment," I said, laughing bitterly. "You banished me. You let him ruin me. And now that the truth is out, you're still defending him." Dad was silent, frozen. Everyone else just watched. Brandon looked at his wife, but she was already backing away from him. Her face was unreadable. Without another word, he turned and stormed off toward the cabin. His mother followed him, shouting his name. No one stopped me when I sat back down. No one said a word. The next morning, the yard was silent. No laughter, no music, just the wind brushing through the trees and the quiet clatter of someone cleaning up disposable plates. The long tables were half empty, folding chairs knocked over like they'd been abandoned mid-meal. I didn't see Brandon. His car was still there, but his wife was gone. Liz told me she'd packed up early and left before sunrise. No goodbye. Just gone. No one blamed her. Mom didn't speak to me again. She sat on the porch for hours, staring at nothing, arms crossed, lips pressed in a hard, thin line. She didn't scream this time, didn't cry, just sat there like the whole world had caved in around her and she didn't know what to do with the pieces. Dad walked past me once carrying a trash bag. He looked old, not just tired, older, like something heavy had dropped on him and he couldn't lift it off. He didn't say a word, just gave me a slow nod. I didn't return it. A few cousins pulled me aside quietly. One hugged me without saying anything. Another whispered, "We always wondered if something was off. I'm sorry." A few avoided me altogether, loading their cars without making eye contact. That was fine. The perfect image was gone. No more golden boy. No more picture-perfect family unit. It had all cracked, split wide open in front of everyone. I didn't stay for the second day of reunion events. No cornhole, no hikes, no more fake smiles. I slipped out before lunch, suitcase packed, USB back in my pocket. No speech, no dramatic farewell. I got in my car and pulled away, tires crunching over gravel, the cabin getting smaller in my rearview mirror. I'd come with a plan to reveal the truth, but I left with something better. Silence. No more weight on my shoulders. No more wondering if I should have spoken up. They had all the answers now. Let them live with them. A week passed. I was back home, far from the cabin, sipping coffee in my small apartment when my phone buzzed. The screen lit up with a name I hadn't seen since that first text. Mum. I stared at it for a moment before opening the message. "You got what you wanted. Don't ever come back." That was it. No greeting, no name, just bitterness. I didn't feel angry, not even sad, just tired. Tired of holding on to something that was never mine to begin with. For years, I thought maybe she'd apologize, that one day she'd look at me and realize what she'd done, how easily she'd let me go. But that day never came, and now I knew it never would. I opened the gallery on my phone, found the photo I'd taken of the USB drive right after I left the cabin. I sent it back to her with a single word. Understood. No more fighting. No more explaining myself to people who never listened. I stood up and walked to the window. Outside, the sky was soft and grey, the air calm, quiet. No voices yelling, no fake family gatherings, no pretending. I hadn't gone back to the cabin since that day, but in my mind, I pictured it now. The porch where Mum used to read us stories, the lake we used to swim in, the path through the woods where we raced our bikes. All those memories, twisted now, changed forever. I could still see myself standing there 5 years ago, suitcase in hand, heartbroken. And now again, walking away but different, lighter, free. They could keep their silence, their denial, their broken image. I didn't need any of it anymore. I turned off my phone, set it face down on the table, and walked outside. The breeze hit my face, clean and cool. I kept walking, one step at a time, leaving the noise, the lies, and all the pain behind me. This time, I wasn't running. I was just done.